Today we talk about things we thought that mattered when opening a restaurant that didn't. Hello, TK.
Macho, how are you, mate?
Very well. How are you?
Very good.
I'm excited because I'm looking at cheese.
I could just eat cheese for the rest of my life and be very happy.
I think your coronary arteries may have some issues with that, but
You never said how long I would last.
yeah.
But
What a way to go, though.
This is the quintessentially could be dinner for me for 5 nights of the week. I just love it.
So good.
It's my wheelhouse.
Is it?
You love it?
I love cheese as well, yeah. Unfortunately, my body doesn't like it as much. The older I get, my body's like, don't eat that.
Yeah.
Don't eat as much
Bit
of that.
lactose, yuck.
Just a little bit, yeah. But, I mean, the thing is, again, it's like almost what we've talked about with wine before. I think I'm probably less cheese but better cheese.
Yep.
You know, it's like, let's get something really decent. Just have a little bit. You
Well, I'm way more of a savoury eater than a sweet eater. Like if at the end of a meal, a piece of cheese or cheese before dessert for me. If I ever did a dego in my cooking days, it was always cheese, then dessert.
Savoury, sweet.
Well, see, I've met so many soms that go, you give me such an arse-ache from doing that. And
No,
I'm like,
other way
are you
around.
talking
What?
about?
No, they're idiots. That's incorrect. Oh, it's like not incorrect. That's the wrong way to say it. Classically, it's always like for
The
every
French.
is
Yeah.
you finish with sweet.
Yep.
But in Australia, we pull out a cheese plate at the end and
Yeah,
go,
just
yeah,
to finish that wine off.
have some cheese.
It's like-
Have some red wine and cheese. It's like red wine and cheese can be some of the worst things you can put together
And
in your mouth ever.
I remember one of the greatest food matches ever was a glass of, I don't know whether it was port or muscat or one of those things with blue cheese. And I went, oh my God, of course.
It's a
muscat
liquid
del
version
Gros.
of this.
Yeah, right, there you go.
But it's more fun because it's
Tastes
alcohol.
like a blended Mars bar.
Yeah, it's perfect. All right, what have we got? Apart from the delicious looking plate that Justin's done here for us at Market Bistro,
Mate, so there's been a big focus with Market over the last probably 6 months to just pop them down anyway, Simone. Just throw them down here, mate. It's all good. Thank you. To try and create a really good cheese menu because I think that the Sunshine Coast in general has always undercooked. Or a lot of restaurants undercook cheese, right? They just don't. They'll have 1 or 2 cheeses or a brie, a blue, and a cheddar, and then that's it. And as you know, there's so much more.
oh, of course, yeah.
I mean, I could put 100 cheeses on the cheese menu and still be like, oh, what about this one?
And you haven't even touched cheddar yet.
And we try and we try and highlight Market Bistro, I should say. We try and highlight some many Australian cheesemakers because we've got so many of them.
Yep.
But also throw 1 or 2 really good European ones, or New Zealand, or English, or Spanish, or whatever it may be. So tonight, this is the first time we've done a cheese review, and this company Woodside is one of my favourite Australian cheese companies.
Agree, 100%.
And it doesn't matter whether it's a table cheese like this or whether it be something like a goat's curd.
Yeah.
They just do it so fucking good.
Chris Lloyd is a genius.
Never met her.
She's amazing.
Rock star, right?
Yeah, really great. And really, I think for the Adelaide Hills in particular now, I think Woodside's a big part of the hills. You know, you can go there. There's that cellar door experience kind of thing. But I don't think I've tasted a cheese from Woodside that I'm like, no, it's okay. Like every single time, I'm like, that's delicious.
Because on the big scheme
particularly
of
the
it,
goat cheeses, they're the ones that I've mainly looked at from them. That's her focus.
and I believe that there's a bit more other
milks coming
cheeses
through.
coming
Okay.
through, some Jersey milk, some buffalo milk. They
Yeah.
make a great feta now.
Okay.
But that I think goat's cheese is where they cut their teeth on it, right? 94, I think it was 94 around that mark where they sort of came to the market.
Yep.
But this is such an interesting cheese because it's made in a Canonberry sort of brie style.
Yeah. So white mold,
but they wash it with Chardonnay.
as we should all be washed in Chardonnay. I'd like to. That's how I'd like to go. Actually,
As a person who I think I've got 50% blood, 50% Chardonnay running through my veins. It's one of the reasons why I've gone. I've got to try that.
Yeah.
That's before I even seen the cheese.
Yeah.
And then when it came, this is years ago, I went, holy fuck, it's terrifying.
so this is wrapped in vine leaves.
Vine leaves, yeah.
Okay. So it's called vigneron. Obviously,
Vigneron,
which
yeah.
is, great. So
And there's 1,000 different ways you can pronounce that, but I've always pronounced it vigneron with the silent G there. But I find that the vine leaves really protect the cheese and allow it to age really well without getting really skankily. You get that not ammonia, but you get that depth of flavour, that stinky flavour.
Yeah.
But you know what cheese is like if it's, even a brie can get that real fluffy, massive, aggressive mold. I think the vine leaves sort of protect it a bit.
Yep.
And there's a few cheeses out there that do that. They do a beautiful ashed brie as well. Edith, ash,
delicious
is
too.
really good. Where they take actual vine leaves and burn them and then powder them up and dust
I think
them.
the other thing is, it's like it's relevant in terms of, we talk about regional stuff all the time, and it's like if someone's in a wine region, it's like that just makes sense because it's just down the road. Why would you not do that?
And am I right in saying the Chardonnay, they wash this in one particular type of Chardonnay, it comes from Coriol? It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
it's a really cool story, right?
Absolutely.
And I think the thing that I like about this is if you buy some of these cheeses, in particular white mold cheese, soft cheese, I used to store it in the bottom of my wine fridge.
Yeah, right. And let it mature.
For about 15 degrees.
It's interesting because talking to Nick Haddo from Bruny Island years ago, I remember him saying that most cheese in this country is consumed so early that it doesn't get the chance to develop the flavour that it really can get.
And I think it's the Australian standards make it so tough.
FSA, the food safety standards of Australia are quite high.
Yep.
Very high. Internationally, people
which is good and bad, right?
Exactly, because you get things like, you remember years ago, what was that guy's name who was making hamon in the Yarra Valley and they shut him down.
That's
and,
right.
Burnt everything, and it was like millions of dollars worth of ham. And, I remember when was this? Early 2000s when Roquefort was allowed back in.
Will Stud. Thank fucking God that guy exists.
And we sat down and drank a very ridiculous bottle of German Riesling, gold capsule dessert wine with the first Roquefort that we'd got into the country. And I'm just trying to think, it would have been...
It was such a big thing, right?
It was huge. And we were celebrating in the restaurant. It's like, oh my God, we can do this now.
He was one of the... He was at the forefront. He was the tip of the spear.
Yeah.
And the amount of money that he wasted in cheese going in the bin because of this was crazy. But would you believe that we talk about unpasteurized cheese? We're probably getting off the track of delicious cheese here, but it's unpasteurized milk that goes in Parmesan, but it's been allowed to come into Australia for years.
Yeah, it's good because it's heated. So it gets to that point where I think it kills it. It goes over a certain thing, and I think that's what it is. That it gets cooked. So because it's a cooked cheese, that kills what they're trying to keep out.
I wonder how many people Roquefort's resulted in the death of in Australia.
I'm pretty sure the answer is 0. I think the numbers of cheese killing people like every year is like 1 or something like that. So anyway, should we taste it?
Yeah, taste it. And I guess the important part, as you slice and dice there.
Are we eating the rind? That's
we're eating everything. 100%. So this here, this cheese, as it gets more mature, gets softer. As you can see there, it's pretty oozy.
It's like almost like burrata.
And this cheese here is right on date, but I would leave that for even longer.
Yeah. Because
it's just going to get better and better and better.
The other thing, and I'm not going to have a go at Juzzy about this, but one of the things I remember many cheese people have said to me is that sometimes, like, serving apple can be quite stark with cheese because it's full of that malic acid and it can really contrast. So sometimes you're better off with something a little bit riper, a little bit less malic. So pear's always good.
The reason I like apple, especially when I reckon that 95% of cheese that we serve in the restaurant here gets served in a group of 3, 4 or 5.
Yeah.
So if I was having some blue cheese and then I wanted to go back to this, in between it, I would have a piece of apple just to try and clean my palate up a bit.
So it's sorbet. Okay, that makes sense.
I don't even really like, and this is controversial, I don't even like eating cheese with crackers
anything
or
else.
Nothing. I just like
I'm a bread guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
That bread's not going to make it through the night, I can assure you.
But and I don't know what your thoughts are on that cheese, but
it's delicious.
It's absolutely delicious. In 2 weeks, that would be even better.
So it just gets softer, gooier,
more powerful.
And it's pretty delicious, but it does seem reserved a little bit. Like
it's not supposed to be that massive, powerful. It's not a Taleggio or a Fontina or something like that. Yeah. But it's a delicious cheese nonetheless. And I will plead with people who go out and buy one of these cheeses to try and do your best to ignore the use by date.
Yeah.
Because it's good for 3 or 4 weeks after that.
Yeah.
No problem at all. Every day of the week.
Where do people get these kind of cheeses? Is this like...
This is the hard thing, but more and more online.
Okay.
Pheno,
or direct to Woodside, right?
correct.
Okay.
If you jump on their website, they've got a list of places that you can get them, or,
Okay.
or go down to Brisbane. James Street Market's really good. They've
Yep.
got a bunch of them. Some of the new IGAs are fantastic.
I was gonna say that,
Roz
actually, yeah.
at the IGA
Roz,
at Forest Glen is unbelievable, and I think it's Pridgeon. I think that's her flagship.
Well, yeah, that's a great start.
And more and more, it's becoming a thing that they must have. So, where great cheese was a thing of the past, and it was always just a blueberry and a really piss poor effort of trying to get a good parmesan in.
Yeah.
Now you walk into some of these IGAs, in particular Roz's, and you see
Like
there's a lot of
cheese,
effort,
yeah.
and there's a shitload of money there.
Yeah.
So, try and think outside the square. But we've got some great cheese on the Sunshine Coast here. Like Mumbai cheese is unbelievable. Right?
Kenilworth.
I just seen the other day that Emirates has got Mumbai cheese on
Has it?
their
Really?
on
Is it
their
the
first class
Wash
menu. I'm not sure what style of cheese
Yeah,
it is,
okay.
but but this one here, congratulations, Woodside.
Absolutely.
It's a cracker. I'm doing a function tomorrow with Juzzy actually for 200 people, and we're serving a porcini dusted eye fillet with a big spoonful of the Woodside goat's curd
Yes.
on top.
Okay.
Lashings of olive oil.
Yes, please. See you
Sauce
tomorrow.
bordelaise. So you want one serve?
Yes, please.
Reserve? Get your hands on this, guys. It's a cracker.
Absolutely.
And Corey, I know your mouth's watering. I can hear it from here. Get into it.
We should probably talk about the topic that we've been issued for this evening by
The master big dick with the microphone over there.
none other than Corey,
Sorry, Corey. We do appreciate you, man.
which is it's a bit of a deep one.
It is.
Things I thought that matter that didn't.
The list is long.
Things I thought mattered that didn't. There's a lot of things.
Let's
Like when are you talking about when you open a restaurant?
I was just about
I
to
was
say,
gonna say,
let's categorize.
Because I think you need to.
Are you talking about life? I mean, I'm not saying I've got
I'm
regrets.
talking
but-
about poetry. No, yeah. Let's start.
I'm
with,
out.
Let's start with opening a restaurant.
things I thought that mattered that didn't when opening a restaurant. Holy smokes! I think that's actually one of the things that everyone gets stuck into is they focus on the minutia to the point where it actually takes over and doesn't need to.
Yeah.
Things like the bins. It's like people are like, oh, everyone's going to see them. It's like it's a bin, but if you're looking at the overall, it depends on the level of restaurant, depends on the style of restaurant and everything else. So sometimes those little details do matter.
Coaster.
Coasters are important. You don't
They are, but do you need the fancy ones with the badge and the...
Yeah, good point.
Oh, fucking hell. Business cards.
Business cards is a good one. Now,
Personalised business cards.
now,
Yeah. Well, that's what we're talking about, right?
yeah. But 10 years ago, 20 years ago, different
Right.
conversation.
Do you want to go back that far?
I don't know how far.
'Cause
I
that-
keep getting in trouble for
That's a
going back and
massive
talking
landscape to
I
talk
guess-
About, about shit 20 years ago.
How would you separate things that weren't important versus things that have become irrelevant? Like
Okay,
like
so-
like a business card.
Yeah, okay. That's probably fair.
It's a good question, Corey.
Well, happy
I
to
don't
talk
know.
about business cards. I don't have one, and I won't have one.
Yeah, I don't have any now. I have historically had them.
The venues have got them. Like we've got
Yeah.
a business card for market,
Yeah,
and there's still a substantial amount of people that will take one.
yeah.
But I say substantial,
But
5 or 6 a week. or
I would
something.
think that, I don't know what the percentage would be, but a lot of people are just going to be looking it up on their phone, right? It's just like you put it in,
You've
save
got a
it as a contact,
supercomputer
you're
in your
done.
pocket.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that makes it
100%.
easy. So
And those new business cards now, where you can tap.
yeah,
your
that
phone.
freaked me out. That stuff.
I don't do that either.
Yeah, I don't even know how that works. I mean, I don't know. Most things work, but
But there's a lot of fuss it gets made over that at the start.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's...
I also think there's people that are coming
And it's
through.
opinions, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone's got one. That's what you're saying. But it's also, I think there's a point when you're in your career where it's like business cards do matter to you because it's like it gives you an identity.
It's a
almost.
flex.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, this is
American
this is
Psycho,
me.
that new one.
Oh,
When he-
the new one,
well, not... It's
Oh.
the newer one.
not with Christian Bale.
That one.
Oh, that's
Not the original.
that is the original.
No, there was the one before that.
Is there?
Yeah.
Oh,
It was done like
The Bret Easton Ellis book, the one
Yeah.
that's a dark
But I remember
movie. Yeah,
one of the things I took away from that is when he's talking about
the
his,
gold embossed. He was like losing his fucking mind because old mate has got embossed, and he's like, damn it.
Yeah, and the Stokehouse business card was fucking impressive.
Was it?
Yeah, it had a thin blue middle line around, like it was really thick.
Yeah,
It was embossed. It was blue on blue.
yeah,
So the writing was shiny blue.
yeah.
But the card was matte blue.
Yeah.
It was fucking so cool.
Yeah, that's
I'd hate to think it had to have been $1 a piece.
I think they get expensive as well, but I think they matter to certain people. As I don't think customers. I don't know. I mean, I certainly don't use them anymore.
Right.
I think if someone gives me one, I'll probably generally I'll give it back. I'll be like, I'm good. I've got all your details digitally because I don't like paper.
Or take a photo. Yeah, I just try and minimise everything.
Yeah,
Minimise everything that I carry.
well, that's the thing because I got a backpack. I'm rolling around the venues every day. I'm all over the place. So it's like I don't want to be my bag to be full of shit.
You would have had one of those old Refidexes, wouldn't you?
100%. I had it. No, I actually had it was like a
Filofax thing.
It was like a black. I remember it was a black. There was nothing real about the leather on it. I can tell you that. But it had like 4 business cards, like plastic
Vegan
inserts,
leather?
So you put them in. I'm not sure. The cow was vegan. But yeah, you put the business cards in. I had hundreds of them in
Yeah,
there.
same.
Like my first like big job, I suppose, back in 1,000 years ago. At Splash Leisure, and that was everything. That was my black book. Like
Yeah.
I had that, but now my black book is my phone.
Yeah, same.
I think that's probably the same for most people these days. But I mean, I still use pen and paper every day for like my daily stuff. But for everything else, it's in the computer. If it's not in my diary, it's not going to happen. Simple as that. So, the other thing I was actually just on that is probably things that I thought mattered is. Like, I thought you had to answer every email within 0.4 of a second.
Yeah, no.
And it's just not the case.
I'm trying so hard to doctor myself into a routine around that twice a day, in the morning and then in the afternoon.
How does that work out?
I've been pretty good at it, but if you've got a few important things, I've got to keep my eye out for them.
Yeah.
But when I'm on holidays, I
You switch off?
no, I absolutely follow it. So 10 o'clock and 4 o'clock.
That's it. So...
Or I shouldn't say on holidays, 10 o'clock and 4 o'clock. It's morning and afternoon.
Yeah.
But I clear the inbox.
So I don't have work email on my phone.
It's a bit different, but because you
I'm an
work,
employee,
yeah,
correct. You probably need to be on call.
well, it's just my job.
I think the thing is as well, like for me, it's like if I'm being called in an emergency, then what's happening?
Yeah,
Because what can I do?
yeah.
Choose what wine you're going to drink while the place is on fire. I mean, I think that, and that's,
Just take the burgundy out.
yeah, exactly right. Be very, very. No, but I think, and I've said to my guys, it's like my weekends are my weekends. But it's like if you need me,
Yeah,
then obviously
call me.
I'm going to answer.
Yeah,
Or text me or whatever. It's just like, but really, again for me, I need to switch off.
yeah, of course.
And that's the only way that I can do it because I'm a constant scroller of something.
Yeah.
So if it's email, it's like that's just going to take my mind in a whole other place as
Yeah.
well. So
And I try my best to switch off, but I also do understand that when we employ over 500 people, well, I've
Yeah.
got a duty of care with all those people. Plus, we've got investors in the restaurant. Like I don't take that lightly, and
No.
I think that when you're in business, you've got to be responsible with it. But I still, when I'm on holidays, I'm on holidays.
it's about being present as well.
I agree.
And I hand on heart wasn't great at that. Particularly when Locke was growing up, my phone was always because again it was my business or I was consulting or whatever it was. So it's like
Yeah.
those things, like every phone call could have been a new job.
Yeah.
But I wasn't good with it.
And this is where I guess I've found some pretty good balance. So then what I say when I'm away on holidays or at home and I'm just, I've got, I say a week off.
Yeah.
I'll get up in the morning, I'll have a coffee, I'll take myself away out in the balcony, do something, pull out my laptop, clear my inbox. Afternoon, I'll do the same thing, move away from the family, 15 minutes, clear the inbox.
Can you relax if you're still doing that?
Yeah.
You can still.
Yeah, I'll skim through it. I'm not
Yeah.
answering an email from a chemical supplier wanting
Yeah.
to know if
Yeah,
the
you're
chuck
interested
spots
in-
are, I don't do that. But if it's from one of our seniors or one of
Yeah.
my business partners
Something
or
you need to really work out.
accounts or something like
Yeah.
that, because I still do payroll and everything like
Yeah.
that. So there's a level of importance there which I take quite seriously. But
Okay. Other things that I thought mattered that I don't think now. I think that's the other thing, right? It's like there's these things for me mattered at some point in time, but probably not so much. Linen.
Yep. That was that big push through the 90s and early 2000s, wasn't it?
And there's something really
Starched
really
napkins.
nice now when you go somewhere that has linen because you're like, oh, they're spending some money here. Because,
Or you go, they're not making a penny.
or it's like, oh, geez, I wouldn't do that. But it's also that has a massive impact on them, the tables.
Yeah,
Like,
agree.
if you don't pick the right table that's going to weather well,
Like that.
for example,
Yeah.
Brutal. You've got to have something that's like. I mean, I remember too. We used to have underlays. Everything was
Same.
everything was soft.
Melissa used to iron the
we ironed
tablecloths.
them. Yeah, exactly right. So they're the things that I think at a certain level you not about have to do, but
No.
I think people do appreciate that luxury.
Yeah.
And even more these days, it's rarer.
Do you think people these days are happy to spend $5 or $6 a main course more?
For linen.
Yeah. Because that's
No.
kind of what it is, or at least $3 or $4.
Well, if you add like this is the thing that people may not know, you add like a linen tablecloth, a linen napkin,
Yep.
a kitchen cloth that the guys use in the kitchen, the mats, they're generally all coming from the same kind of people, polishing cloths. That if you add up what a table of two,
Yep.
you're probably looking at $10 maybe straight off the bat just for linen.
$6,000 a month at Market Bistro, and we don't have tablecloths.
That's frightening. that's just napkins
Napkins,
and kitchen cloths.
mats,
mats.
polishing cloths, mats. Yeah,
it.
it's a lot.
That's a lot of money.
Adds up very quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. So
You go and add a tablecloth in there, it's probably, I hate to even think what it is. It has to be
I think
$3
it's
a
more. I think
table.
it's closer to 3. Yeah.
Have you got any restaurants that you manage that have got tablecloths?
No. No. And
No, thanks.
not yet. But yeah, I think yeah, that's certainly one for me. It's
Is
like
there many in Brizzy with tablecloth? SK?
Yeah, SK definitely is. There's definitely plenty. There's a reason why there's there's quite a few linen companies doing okay. So because
Shout out to Elsco.
yeah, and Dirty Laundry and everyone else that's doing an okay job of it.
Yep.
I think that the other thing I was just thinking then, the other thing that I thought that mattered. I mean, you could get a little bit sort of brutal with it and go other people's opinions. I certainly for a long time and to a degree still worry about what other people think. Nowhere near as much as I used to. Even to the point of, we were talking about something before about, caring what people think if something doesn't work out, or, if I do this and that's going to mean this and then they're going to think I'm that. And it's just like the ability in my own mind to project what someone else thinks about me is quite incredible. I'm very, very good at it and none of it's real.
Just means you care, right?
But I think that you've got to get to a point, certainly for me, it's like I've got to get to a point where I'm comfortable thinking about these things and just letting them go.
Yeah.
Because I'm in the car a lot, and I'm more, probably the last month or so, I'm raw dogging it. I'm like, no music, no books, no movies, not movies. Not that I ever watch movies in my car. Sorry, I meant
You
to
knew Tesla.
I meant to say, it's not a Tesla. I meant to say podcast. But I think that, when you're driving and you get a second to sort of think, sometimes you can go down a dark rabbit hole and it's like not good.
But it can be also fantastic.
Absolutely. The other way around is
how many times a week are you legitimately by yourself, nobody's hacking on you, and you've got complete silence to really think about it?
Yeah.
I've come up with the best ideas that I've
like
ever
the
had
shower.
doing that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
100%. Like no one's walking in there.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
that you time.
Yeah.
I think great ideas.
But I think that's always a big one. That's always been a big one for me, is worrying about what other people think about. When it doesn't matter. I care, but I shouldn't. Is probably what it should be. What other things? You got anything else that you worked out you don't need anymore?
Geez, I just look at things, simple things like chef's jackets and really posh, what do you call it? Uniforms for all the staff. Like, if we have a look here at Market Bistro, I think we've spoken about this or touched on it before. We have a rule where you can express yourself.
Yeah.
Wear what you like, as long as you're clean and tidy. We'll provide an apron.
Yeah.
The kitchen's a bit different. We want white jackets or white shirts. Everyone has just naturally gone about it and ordered their own shirts.
Yeah. Jazzy's is probably a little tight, to be honest, but I mean, he's pretty.
That could be for the 2 weeks he's just had off.
He's bulking up.
Yeah, on cheese. No, he's back at the gym.
It is a really good one though, because again, I think we're talking about different levels of restaurants.
Yeah.
Because if I'm at a 3-star or 3-hat restaurant or whatever, and everyone's rolling around in jeans and t-shirts, I'll be like, I don't get it.
No, that's right.
But it's like, why?
But
Why does it matter?
I think you've just got to really clearly make a very, very clear effort at the start to create an identity for yourself and for the venue, and run every single purchase or every single bulk purchase, like uniforms, like, I don't know, even plates, like you can go overboard.
Yeah.
Does it fit the build? Is that the identity of the restaurant?
Is it necessary?
Yeah. Like, am I going to go and buy a Paco Jet for Rice Boy?
Yep.
I'm never going to do that.
Yeah.
Because we're never going to use it.
What are you going to use it for?
Well, we couldn't. You'd need 8 million containers.
And you'd need 10 of them.
Yeah. So little things like that I think's crazy.
Yeah.
But where I think people do get it wrong, where they should focus, is things like cooking equipment in the kitchen is really important, right? Because if you look at this entire restaurant, the kitchen is the engine room.
Yeah.
So why would you go and buy a piece of shit stove?
Yeah.
Or go into Facebook Marketplace and buy a piece of shit stove?
Yeah.
But then go and buy $800 chairs?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make any sense.
That doesn't make sense.
Because if that stove fucks out, you're not trading.
Yeah.
So spend the money wisely on where it really, really matters. Yes, a comfortable chair is important.
Yeah.
But it gets to the stage where if you're trying to cut too many corners, then you probably shouldn't be opening.
It's going to show up pretty quickly.
Yeah. It's like people say, I can't afford to hire a lawyer when I go to open a business. It's like, you can't afford to open a business then.
Yeah. It's like, if you can't afford to put tyres on your car, don't buy the car.
Yeah. Can't afford to drive it.
Yeah. Just a slight tangent here. Surprising. When it comes to, hang on, what did you just say? I just had something in my mind. You just said, what did you say? Hang on.
The stove.
Cooking gear.
Stove.
Chairs. $800
Chairs. Chairs is what I wanted to talk about. Why the fuck are restaurant chairs so expensive?
I think there's a real big difference between normal chairs and commercial chairs.
Yeah.
If you think about a commercial chair, it's generally, at the most, it's sat on 3 times a day. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah.
In a restaurant, it could be sat on 20 times.
So is it about sturdiness then?
Yeah, so they're just made different. They've got different warranties.
Yeah.
Irrefutably. And I can tell you, because I've been the person that has tried to fit a restaurant out post-COVID.
Yeah.
And I looked at chairs from IKEA. I've looked at chairs from Super A-Mart.
Yeah.
Because trying to buy anything, with more than 20 of anything, in the first year post-COVID was fucking impossible.
Just because there was nothing.
There's
here.
just nothing
No
here.
stock, yeah.
So I looked at that sort of stuff, and even this private dining room we're sitting in now, the chairs here came from, I want to say it was Nick Scarley, and they weren't cheap. They were $400 each. They were fucked after 12 months. They're just
the original ones. Yeah, they just weren't. They weren't practical.
They're just not designed to do that.
Yeah.
It's like if you take your new car and took it around Man Panorama flat out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could do it. It could probably do it 100 times.
Yeah.
But it's not going to do it the same as what a race car will. Not as fast. It will. Very, very soon it will fuck out, because it's just not designed to go around the track 100 times really fast. No. It's like a chair, right?
Yeah.
So unfortunately, those chairs, the way they get any chair in a restaurant, the way it gets pulled out, pushed in, pulled out, up and down, people going for a piss, and they're just not designed to do that. So they are super expensive.
Okay.
And I wouldn't say skimp on it, but I'm saying that stove in that kitchen is super fucking important.
Yeah.
Maybe don't buy copper pots. Put the money into a good stove.
Well, what do we do? Well, how are we going to take the Instagram photos?
But see, and this is my point, right? Some people get a bit confused about it all.
But the other thing is that there's a time and a place, and again, it depends on the venue. Like if
100%.
the copper pot suits your venue, then fucking do it. There's certain places where it's like, why don't you have copper? You know what I mean? Okay, so other things that you wish, sorry, not you wish, but anything else you thought mattered that didn't or doesn't?
Very good question.
I mean, I know we've talked about this before, but the review sites.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we know that you're not a fan.
It's not that I'm not a fan. I just don't think it matters at all. Like, I'm sure people think that they're super important. Like, I have conversations weekly about people that are like trying to get this post down or trying to fucking get their review. I'm like, you're speaking to the wrong guy.
Yeah.
So
Doesn't matter
doesn't matter
to you.
But
To you.
Have you heard about all the chefs now, rather than getting excited about Michelin guides, like the Michelin stars, you know what they're getting excited about now? What they consider more exciting than a Michelin star?
Oh, I'm really looking forward to the answer here.
Getting selected to be on Chef's Table. Like,
did you
that'd
see?
be
Have you seen the latest one?
That'd almost be harder.
Yeah, of course it would be. You've seen the chefs that are on there.
Is the latest one like
Thomas
the greatest ever?
Keller.
It's like
Fucking
Keller
Thomas
and everything?
Keller, Jamie
Oliver.
Oliver.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Oh,
I haven't
fuck.
watched it yet.
I just started watching it last night with Jamie
So-
Oliver. It's the cinematography. Oh, my
Really?
God.
Frothing.
My God. It is. The guy who shot that, Adam Bricker, has never shot food before he shot Chef's Table.
Is that right? It's probably why it is the way
Did
it's
they
so
get
good
him?
it
Yeah,
is.
exactly. Because
Yeah.
it's a different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a different perspective.
What did he do before? Like Formula One cars or something?
He does like heaps of like Netflix sort of style shows, like drama and docos and stuff. But I think
It's such a terrific series, that
Really?
Chef's
Yeah,
Table.
It is very,
his
very good.
approach to it.
I watched the Thomas Keller and the Jamie Oliver one, and it is fucking so good.
Really?
Yeah.
Man,
I'll put that
Jamie
on the list.
Oliver losing, like, I won't spoil, but right at the end there, when like you think it's going to pick up and be a little bit more bubbly, but it doesn't. And you're like, oh man,
I love that. Is it real?
Yeah,
Yeah,
No,
it's
that's
fucking
great.
real, mate.
Fucking all
It's
for
fucking
that.
real.
it's
And
rough.
a real good mate of mine, shout out to Gareth Collins. He, very, very good chef. He was working at the River Cafe when Jamie Oliver got discovered. And he was,
discovered as a chef.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, right.
because that's when they're, I want to say CBS or NBC or somebody was in there filming a documentary, and
Right.
Jamie Oliver was being the class clown. He'd only been working there for 5 minutes, and they were like, "Who
Who's
the
this guy?"
fuck is this kid?"
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then they filmed a couple of episodes and of a new cooking series they wanted him to do, and it was fucking shit. And Nick Winter, our Nick at Market Bistro, is one of his best mates, and
Really?
I think he debuted. If you ask him, he'll be able to tell you. He's like in the first season of The Naked Chef. He had dinner over there. Remember, he used to get all of his
get
mates
people
over.
around. Yeah.
Him and Bree went in there a couple of times for
Yeah,
dinner.
right.
Yeah, remember when he used to slide down the fucking?
Yeah, that's right. He had the fireman's pole.
It was a cool show.
It was great. I
Yeah.
love that. What was it? Pucker. That was the thing he used to say all the time.
That's right.
Pucker, wasn't it? I'm
Yeah.
Sure it was.
I used to love how he used to do. Some of the dishes he used to do in that show was so fucking good.
Yeah.
But River Cafe, one of the greatest fucking restaurants on earth. That joint.
What happened to God, reminiscing. Rob. What happened to him? Head chef we had at restaurant too, who worked at River Caf.
Oh, that's right. I remember him. I went away
Yeah.
with him once.
Rob, great guy.
Yeah.
Terrible
made
stutter.
olive oil with him.
Really good dude though. It was funny because the only time he didn't stutter was when he was like super focused.
Yep.
And I remember one day, I'm not going to say the waiter's name. It clearly annoyed Rob quite significantly. And I was in the dining room at restaurant too, so you couldn't see the kitchen; it was all closed. You know, kitchen doors were barn doors; you could go in and out, and you could hear a pin drop in the restaurant most of the time. There's a little bit of music on, no problem at all. All of a sudden, all I hear is like a booming, like foghorn of a voice. Get the out of my kitchen, you
What?
We might need to bleep that one. Like, we definitely need to bleep that one.
Boom. Oh,
Do we,
and
do
they
we-
tell
can we-
me,
can
they
we
tell
bleep-
me, they tell me that I've got a foul mouth.
I'm just repeating the story.
Did everybody go deathly quiet in the restaurant?
Whole restaurant was like,
What
like
the fuck?
snapping necks everywhere. There's all what's going on, and then you see this waiter come out of the doors of the kitchen and just like slink down to the other end of the bar. It's like everyone knows who he was talking to.
Yeah, the guy with the tail between his
That was
legs.
a lot. Gosh, yeah,
Fucking
bleep
hell.
that for sure. Just make a note and whether the timestamp on that one, please. That cannot go to market. Corey.
Yeah, mate. No worries.
That'll be a big bleep. Everyone will know what I'm saying. They can read lips. But it was one of the most. It was a really super dramatic moment. But yeah, he was a great cook.
But what about why don't we flip it on its head and go, what is super important?
Ooh, we might do that in the next episode.
Really? Okay.
What do you think, Corey?
No, I think do it in the time.
Okay, all right. That's what we have here.
Overall.
We've got the
Producer with a
timekeeper
microphone.
over here. A shout out to Navad who told me to take the take the microphone off Corey.
It's not going anywhere.
Mate, I have a conversation on a weekly basis about social media and the restaurants, right? And people that go, I don't have time to do it. And my question or statement usually is, if you've got time to set tables or do the ordering or take reservations, you've got time to post a relevant story about your restaurant.
So you see it's part of the mise en place of
It's so
the restaurant.
important, mate. You've got to keep your followers, your community, up to date with what you're doing.
Yeah.
And our voice in the restaurants is very, very clear. I want to say it's 60 or 70% of the time we're trying to drag somebody who's undecided about what they're going to eat
Where
off
they're going
the
to go.
couch.
Yeah.
And so it's important. And
So what does that mean? Is the focus purely about just showing stuff that people are going to want? Is that what it is? It's just like is that you're using that food or the booze or the impact of the
Corey could add some good intel here, because I probably have had more than enough arguments with our marketing people about the photos, because the quintessential Instagram, Facebook photo of food for restaurants, and it has been for years, is let's get 15 plates of food, do the high shot, and take it.
Yeah.
Well, when was the last fucking time that represented dinner for you guys?
Yeah.
Like, I just don't understand. Rice Boy or any of our fast casual restaurants, maybe.
Yeah, when
but
you're
there's
sharing
never been
dishes and-
fucking 15 dishes on the table.
Yeah.
I can't tell what half the things are, but if you have a dish of a perfectly executed piece of coral trout or Kilcoy beef,
Yeah.
and it's zoomed in so you can see the ingredients, you
Yeah.
can see the skin of the coral trout glistening, or the olive oil running off the perfectly ripe tomato,
Yeah.
you potentially are going to take somebody who's undecided about that, what they want for lunch or dinner, and go, fucking, I need that now. And get them in the restaurant.
Yeah.
And when you've got a fast casual restaurant, I think the importance of that can never be overlooked.
Do you think it's more important for fast casual than it is for fine dining?
Yes.
Why?
Because the point of a fast casual restaurant is to be able to go, I don't need to get dressed. I don't need a jacket. I don't need a pair of slacks.
Do I need pants?
Just fucking get a pair of shorts on, go get it, or ring up and get some takeaway.
Yeah.
So that means my market gets much bigger. One, it's more affordable. Two, I can always get it, whether it be takeaway or... And we will, like, people go, I couldn't get a table at Giddy Geisha or Piggyback or Rice Boy. It's fucking bullshit. Well, we've never said no to anyone.
Yeah.
The only time we'll ever say
You just gotta
no
wait.
is if it's 10 to 9 and we close at 9,
Yeah.
and there's 50 people in the line, there's a chance you're not going to be able to
Be fair.
get in.
Yeah.
So apart from that, we're never saying no to you, but
Yeah.
people just generally don't want to line up. And I
How
get
often
that.
are you going to
Neither
have
do
50
I.
people lining up at 9 o'clock? I mean,
Really,
the
and
Sunshine Coast,
especially
they'll
now,
be dead by now.
people know.
Yeah.
But the power of a special that's photographed with the talent of our young photographer sitting at the end of the table here, where it's the whole thing's grafted really, really well,
Yeah.
and then if it's a special and it's photographed and it's jammed up on social media about 4 o'clock in the afternoon,
Yeah.
and then you get home from work, you've had a fucking shit day, sit on the couch, you're fucked, and you're like, oh,
First thing that
I
comes
can't
up is
believe I'm
that.
going to have to fucking cook dinner tonight. You
Yeah.
go, grab your phone, you go, boing, and you go,
Done.
I need that.
I have a problem. I'll admit this publicly. If someone mentions something to me during the day about a particular food,
Pizza.
pizza in particular, but other things, like if it gets mentioned, it's like I have to have that. You know, it's like talking to Nick from Harrington Bugard one day, and he was talking about what's the burger place, the little weird little place up here that's fucking delicious.
Walters?
Walters, right? Weird's the wrong way to say that, but it's weird where it is, and
Yeah.
it's like it's a strange. It's
It shouldn't work, but
an
it
old
does.
weird house that's
Yeah.
kind of been anyway. But the food is great.
Yeah. With great sandwiches.
Great sandwiches, yeah. But
burgers.
there was one day Nick was like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna have burgers," and I was like, "Oh, that's cool." And I got in the car and I'm like,
Where were you living at the time?
"I have to have burgers."
Were you north or south?
No, we were here.
Yeah,
We were
yeah,
south.
right.
So it's still a 25-minute drive from us.
It's not like it's-
I'm like,
yeah,
I
local.
have to go and get that burger immediately. I think I ended up having it for lunch. I was like, "We're gonna go now," because it's in my mind. I'm so weak. I'm like a mental midget. We talk about this every week at golf, but mental pygmy is the other thing we call ourselves. Because it's like, there's something in me, and only recently, I'm talking in the last couple of weeks, where we've had a conversation at home and pizza's been mentioned, and then I'm like, no, we can have something else. Normally, if the P word said, like, it's literally, you don't say the word.
You pizzaed out.
It's just happening. No, it's not that I'm pizzaed out. That's never going to happen, ever. But it's just, I've got to get over it. It's like, that's a ridiculous thing. It's like if someone says sausage roll, I'm like, fuck, well, that's my lunch sorted out. It's
There's
like,
a few passionate people about our
pizzas.
pineapple
Jesus, yeah.
pizza thing.
Yeah, I think, my invitation to,
Oh, by the way, Andy Hurden, you're wrong.
I don't know. Actually,
You're very right.
I think
Very right,
I
Andy.
think what we should do is do the test.
Get him in here.
We're going to have to
Come
do
on.
that. We'll get Andy in. We'll get a wood-fired pizza oven from somewhere. Or maybe
I
we go
can't
somewhere
even.
that has
I
wood-fired
can't even
pizzas.
imagine how that guy's got 5 minutes spare in any one of his days.
Mate, I was looking at the stuff today he was doing. It's like he's a very, very busy boy now there in Sydney.
I reckon every single time I take my my son to rugby academy training at 6 o'clock in the morning, I pull out of my street and he's coming the other way. He must go to the gym very early.
Yeah, he does. Every day.
Yeah, every single
Yeah,
day.
that's
Same
that's-
spot. It's
that's
like we meet, and I'm sure that he doesn't know that it's me.
Yeah.
And he's, why is this guy always waving at me?
Just a weirdo. He's another
Just
fan.
Another fan, yeah, exactly.
Well, and there's plenty of things there. I think the thing is there's lots of stuff that is not relevant. There's lots of stuff that is relevant.
Yeah.
I think what it is comes down to, again, for most people, is work out what you want to be.
Is it dollar productive? I always
That's a
say
good
that.
question. Yeah.
Is it dollar productive?
Yeah.
You buy a ship plate, you might have to buy 3 or 4 of
10,
them.
yeah.
But sometimes you won't have the money to fit your restaurant out with nice plates.
So
So,
you got to start somewhere.
go to Kmart. You can buy a plate in Kmart for $1.
Yeah.
Get your side plates there.
Yeah.
And then in week 4 or 5, slowly but surely start buying the rounded edges that are a bit more durable, so you
Yeah.
can save your money on it.
Yeah, I think that's good for, again, most businesses, like, start small and get big. Don't get big then have to scale down.
Like if you don't have a wine list with a reserve list on it that's selling bottles of Burgundy and north of $100 bottles of wine, there's no need for you to have 18 different wine glasses either, right?
No, definitely not. I mean, most of our venues now, we're moving to one table glass and then varietal specific for the big boys, So
Short and tall glass,
Yeah.
champagne flute.
yeah. Cocktails, different conversation. If cocktails are a big thing, then you've got to get a little bit creative. You need your...
But you don't need 20 glasses.
No, you probably need half a dozen.
Yeah,
I think
correct.
you got your martinis, hurricanes if you want to do that. But then things like Nick and Nora's, and then there's all that. There's so many cool glasses.
But again,
out
you're
there
not
now.
buying thousands
No,
of them.
that's the
Where
thing.
a wine glass, if you're setting the table in the restaurant, you're going to need 100 of them.
Yeah.
So it's important.
Well,
So if you want to do, I remember the days where you have to set the tables in the restaurant with red and white glasses.
And water.
Fuck, that was our first restaurant wine bar. And it's giving me heart palpitations. I wonder why we fucking went broke. Tablecloths.
Yeah.
Sorry. Under mass, the
The
squishy
spongy
vinyl-y
underbit.
fucking thing.
Yep.
Tablecloth, overlay, starched napkin. Like, what the?
You had overlays as well.
Yeah. Because the overlays were much cheaper.
Yeah. So you could use them.
Yeah, but
times a day.
Melissa wanted desperately to double cloth them rather than the overlay because the overlay was pissy. It only hung
Yeah.
she wanted the draping.
all the way down, and you do the crossover. Yeah, I mean, I get it, but again, $6 a table these
Yeah,
days.
some fucker spills a glass of wine. It's like that costs fucking $12.
Yeah, it's like, all right, no problems. That's fine, sir. No problems, sir. It's just, I'm not ordering eggs this week.
It's an interesting one. I mean, it's a good topic, Corey, actually. But I've always tried to live and die by the rule in the last few years: dollar productive, and then really think about how important it is.
Yeah.
If it's going to make you money, invest in it.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
I agree.
exactly.
I think we could probably talk about that for
Hours.
a whole year and a half, but I think we need to pull up and
encourage people to send in some comments. Like if you want some opinions, send us through a question.
Absolutely.
We'd love to.
And don't forget to like, share, and follow. Is that what I need to say, Corey?
Yeah, of course. And send in stuff that people told you not to do, but you went on, did it anyway out of instinct, and it proved to work. Like
or proved
worked.
it didn't.
Yeah, or proved it didn't. But sometimes when you get that gut instinct,
Yeah.
and you're like, no, you're wrong.
Yeah.
I can feel it.
I think that's definitely a thing that you need to follow that a lot. I think
Yeah,
it's
agree.
important that you do that with, as long as it is have some other reasons for being, like the caveats of, is it a dog?
Can't wait for Ash to be at Mars about the social media thing again tomorrow.
You're in trouble.
All right, sweet as. Let's wrap that one up there.
Righto.
No worries.
Good on you, boys.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.